Timber wolf bat. See if that'll work. All right, I'm just taking a look just as far as a first impression. I think that the bat elements. Well, let me figure out where I'm going to start here. I'll tell you what I dig. The concept sounds fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'd say the anatomy that you blocked out here, the rough out looks strong. Maybe falling apart a little bit in the neck here. And I'm looking at the bad elements now, and they feel a little subdued. I'm hesitant to say because I think that you have something good going on here, but right now it's feeling like it's feeling very dog-like, and I'd say there's something in the head. I gotta take a closer look at this and analyze this, because if you look here, and I know that you're doing anatomy, you're not really sculpting in fur yet. It doesn't seem like you're sculpting the fur yet. In the head, this shape doesn't feel present. This very much feels very dog-like. Yeah, I think if you start looking at these angles and bringing out, I think once you start bringing out this volume, like the length, I don't know. I'm trying to give you a good starting point. Right now I'm having a little difficulty spotting exactly where to recommend you start. I would start with the position of the eyes, and from there work your way back to the slope in the forehead, which I think you have okay. I just don't think it comes back far enough, and it might be sort of the fluff in the back of the wolf head that's doing it. I can understand the beefiness here. It's a little bit more beefy than a wolf would be. So the dog anatomy image instead of the wolf when I was working with the head. Yeah, I mean, it's fine to start with that sort of that dog anatomy image, but you're going to have to go back to your primary reference, which is going to be the wolf images that you're going to want to pull from. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot right. Like I'm looking at this silhouette. Your silhouette is very, very strong. Like I can read that silhouette from a distance. I'd say the only thing I'm seeing in the silhouette is maybe the legs might be a little too short, or that just might be my own personal bias. But I feel like the legs are a little too. They're a little too short. They could be a bit longer. Um, but I think what happened is we started out with a good length, and then as this built up in volume, the back, especially the front legs, started to feel shorter and shorter. Well, I think your length front to back is good. This is really nice. And I like what I'm seeing down here. This movement is really nice. The arch in the back is very nice, moving the neck. But yeah, I would extend the length of the legs a bit. And I'd say, I'm looking at it from the front, it's not going to take much. Maybe about down to where my cursor is right now. The width of your wings are incredible. That's huge, and I know that's sort of like, yeah, I'd say I would take that down to about here, or actually maybe more, maybe even like here. I feel like it's a bit long. Because I was just thinking about these wings folding up and resting at his side or resting on his back. I think you're going to have, you might have some issues, or he might have some issues trying to walk with those folded up, or they might be dragging behind him on the ground. For the ears, here's some design suggestions, I guess. The ears I might make a little bit larger and a little bit more prominent, because he's very much reading dog and can easily read wolf in the silhouette right now and in the features. I think incorporating a little bit more bat into it would benefit this piece. I think that the ears a bit larger, and get those ridges that bats have in their ears. In the nose, I might look at playing with a bat nose in the front. And another, let's look at reference. So maybe something a little bit more like that than like that. Actually, this is more along the lines of what I was thinking. Maybe something like that, or like that, or like that. I might just play with it and see what it looks like. Yeah. Any questions for me about the process so far, and as far as what you're any walls you're hitting, or any issues you're facing? Well, what do you mean by that? You said no. Your main struggle has been pushing the design. So, as far as you're just having a hard time just incorporating the two, or where do you feel like you haven't pushed the design where you wanted it to go yet? Where do you feel like you're falling short? Well, I think, I mean, I think a lot of people struggle with anatomy. I don't think you should see that as a problem. That gets better with time. right? The more you study, the more you practice, um, the more you do studies, I think that you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with anatomy. Um, I think that, but it's not, that shouldn't be your primary concern. I'm trying to be careful of what I'm saying here. Um, it's well and good to have your anatomy all accurate and looking great, but it's not the end all be all of your design. I mean, there's, I'd say silhouette. Silhouette is more important than your anatomy. Anatomy's second to that. The design of your features is more important than the anatomy. Your anatomy is it's a supporting cast player in your character, if that makes sense. If you were to look at your character as a play, right, your stars are going to be your silhouette and your features. Your anatomy is supporting cast, right? They're there to help tell the story of your character. And your silhouette and the design of your features should come first if you're looking at it hierarchically. And I don't see any huge glaring issues in your anatomy and where you're going with it. The only thing, like I said, was getting this to feel more wolf-like, and I think getting the fur or some of that fluffiness in the back of the neck here is going to help. In the back of the head, lengthening the legs, increasing the size of the ears, playing with a different nose. Let's see, what else do I have for you? This fur on the back of on the back here, I think that's something that you could play with in your design. On the back here is having that sort of bat fur on the back. Bat fur on the back. Yeah, having that sort of that mane. But I think you've made good progress, man. It looks pretty tight. I'm excited to see what you do with it. I would say one other thing, aside from bringing down the length of your arms, I would add in the fingers, right? So if we're looking at our bat wings, right, we have all our digits here. So I would complete out those digits in your wings. All right, anything else? Any last thoughts before I jump over You're Afraid of Losing form? Well, you know what? There's always Control-Z, Ash. There's no good excuse not to experiment. You can save versions and you can Control-Z.